Hi, my name is Brianna Tabler, and I actually graduated the Honor Academy in 2009. And so, if anyone's from that class, hello. I'm currently a dorm manager at the Honor Academy. This is my 4th year, and I'm actually planning on leaving in August, and so I'm very excited to move on to transition. But today, I'm going to talk to you guys about just working in a secular workplace. About 2 years ago, I started working at a little diner down the road from T-Mania. Many of you guys have probably been there before. It's called the Dinner Bell. Worked there just to get, some extra hours, some extra cash, while I was still at T-Mania. And so I could work anywhere from 10 hours a week all the way to 40 hours a week. So I thought I was part-time, but really I'm kind of full-time there. And so walking into this job, I'm just going to kind of share just some experiences that I've had, because I think that you can learn the most out of people's experiences and their mistakes that they did too. And so I walked into this job thinking, I'm going to save everyone, like everyone's going to see me, they're going to see Christ. They're, very radical from the Honor Academy, and thinking, okay, this is going to be like this opportunity where, people are, I'm going to like pray for them, and they're going to like start crying, start sharing their hearts with me. And I just walked in with this mindset of like, yes, I'm going to lead everyone in this workplace to the Lord. So I start working there. Inside of me, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, I don't want to share about the gospel. I don't want to share about these things, and you feel like, I feel this pressure, but then I'm like, how do I do this? The Honor Academy never prepared me to actually work in a secular workplace. I always felt like, well, and I would be asking people around me, how can I minister the gospel to people who, especially in Van, Texas, that have grown up going to church, know all the basic little things, bless the Lord, they pray before their food, everything, but not actually living a lifestyle set apart for Christ. And so I went there, and I think the biggest thing that I learned was just being a testimony, being a light there. There was a single mom that she worked there with me, and she actually just would ask me, hey, can you pray for me? And instead of just being like, yeah, I'll pray for you, like after work I would follow her to her car and just be like, hey, let me pray for you, I pray for her, and I would just see the change in their eyes. It wasn't just another casual thing that I was saying of like, hey, let me pray for you, but I was actually stepping out and actually laying hands on this woman and praying for her. She'd invite me over to her house, and she'd offer me, hey, here's a beer, you want to drink? And oh no, it's alright, I don't drink, but the woman would get down and she would wash my feet, and she would, she would even like paint my toenails and give me like a pedicure, and some of my Christian friends don't even do this. And so I looked at her and I saw this humble woman inside of her, and I saw the good things that the Lord, He has a plan for her. I saw past who she was, the actions that she was doing, the guys she was sleeping around with, the drugs that she was doing, the different things, and I saw something that Christ sees in them. And I think that's very important, like walking into a workplace and praying while you're working there, just praying to yourself and asking the Lord, what do you see in these people? And just calling out the things like, hey, you're very humble, the Lord has this plan for them, speaking life over them. And then also just being okay with just talking about the random stuff, like the weather. So many times I'd be so frustrated, like, why do they talk about these random things like the weather and politics and all these things, and okay, I'm not going to talk about that. But just opening up myself and being like, no, I need to learn how to connect with these people. I need to learn how to connect with people again. And so I would just talk with them about random things like, hey, how's your kids? Or how's the wife? Or, oh, the oil fields. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to me about that. Or, oh, the weather outside. I don't know when we're going to get rain. And y'all and this and that, and the sweet tea is not sweet enough. And all these random things. And it was hard for me at first. But, then I was learning how to connect, because then I can ask them deeper questions like, hey, what did you always want to do with your life? Or where do you see your life going? And that would lead into sometimes religion. Well, were you raised in a church? Oh, what do you think about it? When's the last time you've been? Very casual, not preaching at them, and just asking and just listening to them. Sometimes people don't even get people that are really interested in their lives, and just listening to them and being able to do that. And so those are some of the positive things I've learned, that just listening to people, encouraging people, believing in people, praying for people, being that light. But then there are some negative things I learned. And I want to take you guys to 1 Peter 3. I think going throughout any time that I had, I would say 1 Peter 3, and going to verse 9 says, do not repay evil for evil, or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless for those, for to this you are called, that you may obtain a blessing. So when people do evil against you, not repaying them for evil. There's many times where small Texas town, people gossip about each other, and it was very easy for me to fall into that and to say, oh yeah, that girl, what is she doing, or da-da-da-da, and run my mouth. But I had to catch myself, and I wouldn't talk bad about people. Sometimes I would slip up. It happens to all of us, but I would guard myself. I would guard what I would say about people, and I would say, I don't know them, or, I don't agree with that, and different things. But then sometimes people would talk bad about me, and I'd be walking up, and I would hear them say, shh, she's coming, and it was just like, inside of me, I'd get so angry. I'd be like, why are they talking bad about me? They don't know me. They don't know these different things. And the Lord just calmly softened me, said, Brianna, are you going to repay evil for evil, or are you going to love them? And sometimes even in my anger in that moment, I had a choice, because if I would have cussed at them or did something to them, it would ruin my whole testimony. And those are the moments where I had to really calm myself and be like, no, I'm going to just love these people, even when they're talking bad about me, even when they're treating me harshly and they're being rude to me and all these different things. I'm going to love them, and I'm going to smile with them, and I'm going to encourage them, and I'm going to pray for them. And sometimes it's hard, because sometimes they have a very hardened heart and they don't want to hear anything that you have to say. And it's guarding your mouth. It's guarding your mouth in those moments. There's moments where people would be, cussing out at each other and making very inappropriate jokes. They would make a lot of sexual references and different things. And those moments, when I wouldn't say those, when I wouldn't join in those conversations, or I wouldn't sometimes even laugh at them, or even get involved in cussing or different things, and just being a light in that way where I was not putting myself in involvement in that, it showed more to them that, hey, you know what, then sooner or later they were like, hey, I'm so sorry. They'd cuss and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, and they'd be apologizing for what they would say, just because they knew that that's not the lifestyle that I lived. And so I would just encourage you, you know what, you might never see salvations come in your work. You might never see anyone get slain in the Spirit, or whatever you believe. You might not see total freedom come. You might be talked about badly. You might be cussed at. People might even hate on you and spread rumors about you, and not like you, and do things to you that, being persecuted in different ways like that. Don't give up. There's many times I wanted to quit because of that, and just being so annoyed with it and just wanting to give up. But the Lord is showing me now, as I'm coming to a close at working in this restaurant, that I do have a testimony. I have been a light, even if for a moment, because I was someone different, And I believe that after I leave, that the Lord's going to bring other people into that workplace to show them light too, And I might have just planted a little tiny seed. Other people are going to come water it, and in other ways it's going to grow. And so I would just challenge you, when people talk evil about you, or people do evil things about you, is to just love on them. Love them. That's what Christ calls us to do. He doesn't call us to, to preach at them. He doesn't call us to do those things. There might be an opportunity for that, but just to love them through your actions, to hold yourself, to set yourself apart. Your job place, your secular job place, they should be able to tell that you're a Christian. They should look at you and say, that is someone that's living for the Lord. Because if you're blending in, that's where you have a problem. But if you're not, they should see you and they should say, that's someone that is actually following Christ. And so, that's my challenge to you. Love people. Love God. Set yourself apart. And know that, you might go through hard times, in this life, especially in the job forces, different jobs that you have, but just lean in, continue to show what the Christ has put inside of you, show that to other people. And so, thank you.